The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 26th day of March 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Roger Denbrook, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Raj, what's popping?
I'm pretty good. I'm still waking up.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens sometimes. Is it like, have you been impacted by like daylight savings at all?
It's really messed me up this year. It usually doesn't do a thing to me, but this year it's really thrown me for a loop.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like, I mean, I think this week, like late last week into this week is probably me finally catching up a bit. I've been much better, but it was a struggle, and I've never ever struggled with daylight savings. I don't know. Maybe it's us. Notice I said us getting older.
No, I embrace the beautiful process of maturing. You're the one who resists it and clearly has issues with it. Don't project onto me, sir.
I didn't, bro. I'm proud of where I am. I mean, shucks, I made it this far. I made it this far. But good to have you back, brother. Good to have you back. And greetings, everyone. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the head of Bermuda High School, Carol Swainson, Bermuda Private Schools Association. So we discussed the statement they released last month. So we'll be discussing that and what it means, not just for Bermuda private schools, but Bermuda, as we spoke about last month. The Daily Play, well, Raj, it's a remember when. It's a remember when today. You're a pretty good buck with history, right? Yeah.
Yeah, don't oversell it. I get lucky sometimes.
Okay. I think Raj is he's got this one, folks. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. We're going to bring Maya in early for the news break. But before we do that, Raj, I wanted to address something. If it's one thing, you know, I recently told someone, hey, look, you know, if you're in my life and you don't hold me accountable, please get out. Right? I'm all about accountability. And yesterday, during the conversation with the Honorable former Premier Michael Dunkley, someone, I believe it may have been Maya, actually asked about Marcus Jones being given the opportunity to run in constituency 19. And I honestly did not remember. I just about remembered who he was, but I did not remember what it was that was controversial. I'm like, well, if I don't remember, it couldn't have been that serious. I was wrong, Roger. I was wrong. And for those of you who don't know, and as I've always done, if I've said something untrue or that was probably a little out of bounds, I will come on here, retract it, address it, and take full accountability for it. But the issue that people had with Mr. Jones is that a couple years ago, I think it was back in 2022, around the same time probably, he offered his resignation, and it was accepted by the One Bermuda Alliance then. He basically made some remarks in a heated debate with Senator Lindsey Simmons of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party. And quote, this is from the Royal Gazette, Mr. Jones said there was imagery featuring teenagers online that would absolutely make your hair stand on end, right? And asked about guidance given to mitigate the risk from social media. He did went on to say, saying no one would call abuse deserved, he added. But I do believe our young people are inviting this type of behavior because they are ignorantly getting on social media and putting themselves in harm's way. Now, I want to say this, right? There's the things that we just can't ignore. We should never make excuses for someone being assaulted or abused. We can't make excuses for animals that can't control themselves because someone looks a certain way or portrays themselves a certain way. It's the responsibility of the human to not act on those desires that they may have. So I actually want to apologize if anyone was offended that I honestly forgot what this gentleman was accused of and why he tendered his resignation. And at no point do I take lightly, as a person who has all sisters and loves women, people in general, but women in particular. I don't think there's any room for that in politics in Bermuda, despite what may be on offer in the United States with the current election coming up and who's running the frontliner against President Biden. That's neither here or there for a small community like Bermuda. So I just wanted to address that. Secondly, I just want to give a big shout out. We didn't do it yesterday, but our colleague Larry Marshall Jr. He had a birthday on Sunday. Yeah, aging gracefully, I think Raj would say. So happy birthday to Larry Marshall Jr. And then real quickly, before we bring Maya in, we had some overnight news, Raj. I know that you take breaks from social, but we had a bridge collapse in Maryland, and that looks really, really bad. So if you know anyone in the Baltimore area, around that area, please reach out to them. It looked really bad. Bridge is about 1.6 miles long. So reach out. The other thing I just wanted to address before we bring Maya in, Raj, this obsession that we have with celebrities. Last week, she's a princess, Kate Middleton, revealed a cancer diagnosis, right? And I don't know much about the royal family. That's just not my thing. But regardless of how you feel about the royal family, I think we still should be giving people grace, right? And offering them that respect. As I said to Maya, it's none of our business what she's been going through with her family and her health. But the fact she was probably forced, because I didn't even know what was going on until, she came out with that. And then obviously people must have been saying for weeks, she must have photoshopped a picture or some stuff, whatever. I had no idea because I don't follow celebrity news. But I think our obsession with celebrities' personal lives it has been made worse by the internet and social media. And I hope that we can get a grip. They owe us nothing. They don't. Now, that said, there was one more piece of celebrity news involving Puffy, Diddy, I don't know what he got, Mr. Combs. And I don't follow celebrity news, Raj, but that keeps coming up on my timeline. And it's concerning. It's very concerning. And my only advice to myself and others, including you or anyone who's in the limelight, is, folks, if you choose to be in the limelight, if you choose something that's going to put you there, you've got to live extra careful. I don't know what's going on there. It seems very serious, but I'd encourage people to learn lessons from the lives you see before you on the news. Some things like a bridge collapse may be beyond you, but there are things where our own behavior will dictate what happens to us. So anything regarding any of that before I bring Maya on, Raj?
Yeah, no, I forgot. So Marcus Jones's comments, they were in the you was talking about sexual assault?
It was in the Senate, and they were discussing, based on this article, they were discussing Teen Dating Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month.
Oh.
Yeah. And I basically, and fair enough, people talk like he was basically saying, well, teens bring it on themselves. He didn't say that, but the way his comments were oh, they're bringing it on themselves. They need to do this to avoid it. And again, it's not about what they need to do to avoid it. Animals need to control their desires.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely an example of victim blaming, and that was a misstep. Yeah, that wasn't a good look.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's bring Maya in. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Tuesday, Jamel, Rajay, and Maya. Welcome back, Rajay. And Hadley and Swan says, welcome back, Rajay. All right, let's bring Maya in. Early news break. Don't forget, Harold Swainson on, the head of Bermuda High School and representing the Bermuda Private School Heads Association today.
Good morning, good morning.
Greetings, Maya. How are you?
I'm feeling good. Well, it's good to see you.
You too. Here's Heron as usual.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raj. So
your game's on point, Jamel.
Thank you, Raj. Maya, anything before you get into your news break on what I mentioned? Anything, because I know sometimes you like to share opinions or have additional things to add.
I appreciate you asking, but I think you hit it right on the nail today.
All right. Well, what you got for us in the news break?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is your daily news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So starting out, if you're a student, this is perfect for you. If you're between the ages of 13 to 23, this is great as well. Basically for entrepreneurs. So Bermuda Economic Development Corporation is now accepting applications for their 6th annual Summer Student Entrepreneurship Program. So celebrating the program's success over the previous 5 years, BEDC invites students ages 13 to 23 to join this year's initiative, which aims to nurture and inspire Bermuda's emerging entrepreneurs. So it's set to start July 1st and end on August 23rd. And the program's capacity, though, is limited to 10 students. So only 10 students can get in. So the submission deadline is Sunday, May 5th. At 11:59 p.m. at the very end of the day. And you could actually apply or learn more by just going to bedc.bm or emailing info@bedc.bm for, again, their Summer Student Entrepreneur Program.
You know what, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I really do wish I would have attended something like that when I was younger, just because of my interest in entrepreneurship and business. I only took one business class in my entire school career in Bermuda, and that was my final year and the only year I went to Cedar Bridge. The only business class I ever took. I wish. I mean, I don't know now. Do they offer business regularly in schools in Bermuda? Anyone know?
I have no idea. I know when I was in high school, there was a business studies class. I'm pretty sure it's a GCSE you could do. It's called business studies.
But Raj, you went Warwick Academy.
You asked the question. I'm giving you.
Well, I was just thinking, your kids are in public school. I was just wondering. I mean, I Warwick Academy to offer.
I recall doing a city and guild something, but I have no idea if that actually had to do with it. I know I had to do about how to prepare for a business world, but that was more about, I think, your appearance and the way you speak and things like that. Okay. I don't think it was actually. No, I couldn't say.
Okay. Oh, Traveling Trotty says, yes, both public schools do. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay. Wonder what it's called. No, I need to figure that one out. In other news, it seems DHL is also having a bit of technical issues, though not confirmed whether it is the same or another issue. Unlike Bermuda College, what we do know is that upon calling the store, they appear to be closed due to an unforeseen emergency. So if you do anything with DHL, just give them a call, probably check in to make sure all your packaging is straight, if you're under order, and that you're doing exactly what needs to be done if there's any mishaps still there. Now, moreover, in different other news, applications for vendors to participate in the much anticipated Harbour Nights is now open. I know it's the day that everyone loves. I can't believe it's already coming around. The year has sprinted through, but Harbour Nights will be happening on Front Street starting from May 15th all the way through August 28th. And the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce, with support of the Corporation of Hamilton and, of course, Bermuda Tourism Authority, said it's an excellent opportunity for vendors to showcase their work to local and tourists alike amidst the vibrant atmosphere of Bermuda's longest running street festival. So if you're interested to apply to become a vendor, you can apply at bermudachamber.bm and just look out for the links there.
You know what? I think I may do that. I had my first vendor experience at Bacardi earlier this year, and it was really great, talking to people out in public. Well, I'm a bit shy, so I wasn't talking to that many people, but you get my point.
Definitely. Now, in some political news in the sphere, Meanwhile, the PLP will be introducing their candidate for constituency 10 for the by-election on Thursday, March 28th, around like 4 p.m. So be prepared to hear that upcoming news. It is now confirmed that there will be a by-election instead of what we may have assumed earlier to be a general election. So that's the news there on that front.
Davy boy, he ain't ready for no election. He ain't ready for no election. Who you think they're going to choose, Raj?
That's a really good question. I haven't given it any thought.
I know who they're going to choose.
Who you think?
Lindsey Simmons.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
I don't think it's a good decision. No disrespect to her. I just don't think it's a good decision.
Fair enough. What are your reasons?
What's that?
So what are your reasons? If there's time to talk about that.
You want me to answer that in a respectful way? I don't think I can do that right now.
Okay, never mind. Let's move on.
I will close it out with our news break then, Joe. And so I got to speak to Olympic hopeful Janai Panchief as he is gearing up for the USATF next month. And I asked him what's been going through his mind as leading up to this event that's going to be happening in Bermuda, and obviously will be an event for him to potentially qualify for the Olympics. So here's what is on his mind.
Honestly, not too much. I don't really think too deep into meets too far away. It's always a fun meet for me coming home. One, I got to see family, friends. Two, it's something that, growing up, we didn't get much of. So the fact that they're able to do it annually and you can see, top class athletes just come, I think is a good thing for Bermuda in general. The first two meets we had, I went there. I wasn't the healthiest, I would say. I'm not a person to really make excuses. I still try to show up and do my best, but it is what it is. But now I'm actually healthy. So, my mindset's just to stay healthy and be ready for when the time comes.
Now, I also got to speak to the University of Tennessee triple jump record holder and bronze medalist of the 2022 Commonwealth Games. What would it mean to actually qualify for the Olympics on home soil? And here's what he had to say.
It would mean a lot for me to qualify on home soil. Probably mean everything for me. One, the Olympics is one of the main goals as a track athlete in general. So the fact I could, do it home in front of friends and family and, give Bermuda hope at, possibly getting another medal. It'll mean a lot. Training's been going really great. Wellman came down here for the beginning of the indoor season, also assisted with my coach Travis. And, we worked on a few things and it helped out a lot. I think I'm ready. My goal is to qualify back home, knock it out the way, and I could just have fun for the rest of the season instead of playing a waiting game. Trying to just believe in myself and know, okay, if I made it here injured, or I made it this far hurt, or made it this far with something going on, then let's, look at the brighter side. When you're healthy and stuff is going great, you're going to be able to do unimaginable things.
I really want to see him do it and not just qualify. I want to see him medal, man. I think it's time that we show we're not every generation or every other generation wonders. I'd love to see Bermuda medal again, and him, someone like Dage. I just want to see them to achieve things that were not considered the norm for Bermudians.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Janai also spoke a lot about his support system. So if there's any athletes out there, just know it's something that can't really be done on your own. And he says his mother checks in with him almost every 2 seconds. And he has so many different coaches and friends. And a big shout out he wanted to give to Craig Brown, who works at Apex, is also his physiotherapist, which is so crucial for an athlete to have someone who you can really trust as you constantly have to go through so much strain on your body. So there's that there. So good luck tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm closing up with our weather this morning. So it's looking cloudy, occasional morning showers that hopefully will decrease in the afternoon. We've got a high of 70 degrees, so maybe the sun will still pop its head out and you'll get to see that for a bit. But for now, still bring out a raincoat.
All righty, thank you for that, Maya. Raj, you've got a good days of the year for us?
Yeah, I do. Today is Black Marriage Day. Not to say marriage isn't beautiful no matter who's doing it, but in particular, today is Black Marriage Day. In a bustling community and center decorated with vibrant balloons and flowers, wait, that's describing the picture. Anyway, that was the weird. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, I'm not to prolong that. Today's Black Marriage Day, so
all right. I love Black love, but Black marriage, interesting. We're not going to ask no questions about black marriage this morning, Maya.
Yeah, with our track record.
Maya, I want to make sure that I want to see if you'll get today's daily play right. I don't know if Raj will get it right, but I just want to see if anyone will get it right. It's the most Bermudian sports related question that I don't think anyone's going to know the answer to.
The most Bermudian sports related question.
Yeah, the most Bermudian sports related question that I don't think many people will know the answer to.
Okay. I'll be tapped in.
Speaking as well. So make sure I want to see if you get it right without Googling.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, folks. Maya Palacio with the Daily Hour News Break. Look, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, come back with our guest for the day, head of Bermuda High School, Carol Swainson. We're talking about, well, last month there was a statement released. We saw it on Work Academy's Twitter, and it was by the Bermuda Private School Heads Association regarding keeping students local. So we're going to discuss some of that. And as I stated last month, it goes beyond the private school institutions, but I understand the need for them to lead the fight. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Roger Danbrook, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. If you haven't already, please make sure you give us a like, a love, a follow. Make sure you share these conversations with your friends, your colleagues, your even those people you don't like. I mean, you know, there's nothing like being in an office debate about something we're discussing on the Daily Hour, right? Anyway, without further ado, let's give a warm TDH welcome. I think this is her second time on the show. To our guest for the morning, we have the head of Bermuda High School, Ms. Carol Swainson. All right, calm down. Good greetings and good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning, Jamal. Good morning, Bermuda. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm doing great, especially since the sun just started shining.
Well, hey, sun's always a good thing, but we're happy to have you back. And for those who may not have seen you the first time you came on, can you just remind the audience, you're the head of Bermuda High School as of last year, but just give them a bit of background about yourself so they have an understanding of who you are.
Great. Well, Carol Swainson, and I actually have family from St. George's. So Swainson's of St. George's. Shout out to all the fam that I'd like to get to know. I moved here from California, but I actually grew up outside of Washington, D.C. area. Been an educator at lots of amazing schools in the United States, independent schools in K-12s, as well as primary, as well as middle school, high school, you name it, I've done it, and I've taught all levels, including university. So I'm really enjoying being at BHS, which is girls' education is at foremost, except the last 2 years we do have a co-ed program. So it's been exciting to bring all of those skills to bear on such a longstanding institution here in Bermuda. So it's a little bit about me. Indeed.
And St. George's people, I'm surrounded by those kind.
You'll be okay.
Yeah. Roger is a St. George's person as well, and I like St. George's 2 days of the year, but it hasn't been going too well over the last 15 years.
And no, I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of everyone.
Well, we're here. As I mentioned previous to you coming on, there was a statement released by the Bermuda Private School Heads Association, and I actually picked up on it on Rajay's alum Work Academy's Twitter. But for those who didn't read the statement or were not tuned into that show where we were discussing it, just explain what the Bermuda Private Schools Head Association is and what schools are part of it.
Oh, great. Well, it's an association that's been around for a while. A lot of it is just collaborating on our calendars, agreeing on when our breaks are going to be so that things are consistent, collaborating also on some level with some of the public schools as well, just to make sure that we're all aligned a little bit so that families who have children in different schools have a comfortable year. We also sometimes talk about issues. There was a whole social emotional survey that we all participated in, and all of those kinds of things are things that we like to work on. The group of folks that are a part of it are listed, many of them are listed in the article: Bermuda Center for Creative Learning, of course, BHS, Bermuda High School, Bermuda Institute, Mount St. Agnes, Saltus Grammar School, Summersfield Academy, and Work Academy are all listed on the article. And then also a member that's a part of it is Chatmore County. But we're very specific about who was endorsing the article that we put out. So those schools are listed on that one.
Got it.
Okay. So the statement that you had, so the statement, sorry, that the private schools heads released, why was it necessary for Freewell to do that?
There are a whole bunch of reasons why it was necessary. Folks have noticed over the last few years, and I can say this is something I noticed is coming from California, that boarding schools have become much more aggressive about seeking students to enroll in their institutions. And so when we got on island this past fall, on the radio consistently, in the newspaper, there was a lot of advertising. And what was fascinating is I heard on the radio, I heard them talking about different things. And I thought to myself, that's not entirely accurate what they're saying. And so it got me very concerned. And we had our meeting, and it's been something that many of the folks who are here before me, the heads of school, said that, yes, it's been a bit of a challenge. And the boarding schools seem to have a bit of access. I have to acknowledge that there's certainly a long-standing history of boarding schools here. I mean, let's face it, we're an overseas territory in that way. So, the whole concept of going to a British boarding school is very historic. And we certainly don't want to disparage anyone who wants to go to boarding school, or the fact that boarding school is right for some folks, for some students. But we noticed that it was far more aggressive, and that it was fraught with a few inaccuracies that we wanted to address, and we put those listed some of those topics in the article.
All right. If I can actually, before we segue to the next question, what was some of the inaccuracies that that you noted?
That somehow you'd have a better advantage graduating from the boarding school, and as someone who's sent students off to universities in different places, coming from Bermuda, and we all know how they do their admissions policies. They're looking to create a diverse class of students from all around the world. And so when you are positioning yourself coming from Bermuda, you have a greater position to get seen just with that. When, in fact, I talked to several families who said they sent their child to one of the really, fantastic boarding schools that exist in the United States. And the child wanted to go to Dartmouth, but there's like 20 kids who wanted to go to Dartmouth, and they didn't get in. Whereas if they'd been positioned from Bermuda, it probably would have had a better look and better odds of getting in.
Oh, I've never heard that angle before.
It's strategic. It really is strategic.
Understood. So outside of that, what are some more benefits of staying local? Because I remember reading it, and you guys really had to make this distinction that what's on offer in Bermuda is in many ways comparable, if not superior, to what's offered at a lot of boarding schools. So what are the benefits of remaining local?
So the greatest benefit of remaining local is the academic program is absolutely outstanding. And there's a range of academic programs on island. Hands down, all of the schools, we all agreed, folks are never saying that they're going off to boarding because they want a stronger academic program. That's not what they're saying. It's really more about kind of that co-curricular piece. But we actually still have some of that, and we've been working with Aldala folks. I can think that each one of us has a different one. You know, we've got an Olympian who's an archer at our school, and she's staying here on island, and we're making that work. We have students who represent Bermuda as equestrians. We have students who represent Bermuda as swimmers and volleyball players, and we are making that work. So there are ways of fulfilling the needs of the students, both co-curricular as well as academically. But on island, the academic programs are absolutely outstanding. And I can say that having been at some of the US's strongest independent schools, we're really super strong in that way. And we have a range. You've got American program, you've got the IBs, you have the A levels, you have a number of experiences that will meet the needs of the students on island.
Yeah, and thank you for like clarifying the range that exists, because I feel like sometimes that's lost on people. So when I saw that BHS had A levels again, I was really excited because I did IB. I went to work academy. I did IB, and IB was not for me. GCSEs went well. First year of IB was great. Getting my 6s and 7s, that was great. Second year of IB was an absolute joke. And I always said, well, I really think A levels would have been a much better fit for me. And
real quick, I must ask, because you're speaking a foreign language to me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jamel. I'm sorry.
What is IB? What's A levels? What's GCSEs?
IB is an international baccalaureate, and I think and they have a middle years program that they do at Summersfield, and so that's like after you've done your GCSEs, it's that pre-university time that you do. So like in public schools, one of the huge strengths that they have is the dual enrollment program. So they're able to go to to Bermuda College while they're satisfying their high school credits and get their associates by the time they graduate, which is absolutely amazing. That's an incredible opportunity. But I'm pretty sure that's the only sort of like post sort of GCSE time that they have in public schools. And I also think GCSEs aren't mandatory. Like there's like you could get your Bermuda High School leave, but we're not going to go into the comparative thing right now. But so you have IB, then you have A levels where you focus on 3 subjects, and then from there, and those are really big in the UK. So if you want to go to like a UK university, you can do your A levels, and I'm pretty sure you'd be absolutely fine. And IB is extremely rigorous. It is wonderful preparation for uni. We all, even though those of us who struggled, we all say, do an IB set us up great for university, because that first year of uni was a breeze, even though I bombed my IB years. So
Thank you for that. And I was being very genuine in my ignorance. I've heard people mention these for years, but I think my sisters even took part in them, but I never knew what they were. And I'm putting this question out there. Do the public schools offer that? If anyone's in the audience, do the public schools offer these same opportunities in Bermuda? That would be helpful to know. But sorry about that. I just wanted to, hopefully I wasn't just asking for me just now.
No, not at all. And I think, but then they have BTEC. So I think Work Academies are offering BTEC. That's wonderful. It's like a baccalaureate technical qualifications you can do. So one thing I will say the private schools have done really well is diversify the kinds of qualifications that students can get. And I mean, that's a really huge thing in the island. And there really is no need to be world hopping to get the range. I mean, for a country as small as we are, the range of qualifications that students can get and the pedagogy that's offered between the private schools, it's a plus. And I do have to, as much as I am a public school advocate, and I definitely am, and I would love for my kids to stay in public school, but right now I'm actually making that decision myself. But sorry, I went off on a tangent just now.
No, I asked the question. I'm sorry to both of you. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't just sitting here as a frozen duck, like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, and I'd like to just add a piece, because I'm a product of public school myself. But I've been working in independent schools for a while, and I think that it's really important that we think of, as I like to call it, the culture of abundance, and that's part of us banding together. And we actually are hoping to collaborate with the public schools, because the issue impacts us all, and it impacts, of course, not just public-private, but just impacts all of Bermuda. And so we really want to address the issues that that the young people and that the families are looking for, that they think are being solved by the boarding school piece. We want to solve those issues here on island so that the students are, all programs are really strong. And I've heard about different experiences that folks who've gone to the public schools and they had great experiences here in Bermuda. So I really want to make sure that we're just being sensitive to the fact that this is something that really impacts us all.
Indeed.
I'm really glad you made that point as well, because we're not going to have enough time to talk about it. But I mean, there's clearly an openness and an intention to work more with the public schools as well. Because I think, especially in Bermuda, we get caught up in this like public school, private school dichotomy, and we forget it's education. We're trying to educate all of our children, and it doesn't matter whether or not the parents are paying for it, at paying for a service. It's everyone's receiving an education, and the more we all work together to deliver that provision, is just going to rise the tide for everybody. This whole private school, public school thing, it doesn't make any sense. But so what are some of the reasons that parents are sharing with the respective heads as to why they're sending their kids away, or they're opting for boarding school?
Right. So some of the ones with boarding school, some things, especially here in Bermuda, there are families that travel a lot. So they're just like, I'd rather offer a stable environment for my child where they can be in one spot and not have to deal with us coming in and out of the country and things like that. So super logical reason for a family to want to choose boarding school. And that's actually part of the reasons where we're just like, oh, yes, that makes perfect sense. It's good for young people. Some of the reasons that also that families do is that there's a certain program, like they want to ski. And obviously we're not going to be skiing here in Bermuda. So that's a program that they're going to need to go and do. So there's that component. And then some of the families, of course, have long traditions. I attended it, and so you'll attend it, and they sort of have a spot in some of these boarding schools. That's sort of a family legacy. So that definitely goes. But the other part that we feel that we listed in the article that was that some of the parents are saying that we don't feel is necessarily something that they can't find in Bermuda is some of the social piece, looking to have more social activity and more community that way. Some of the co-curricular piece with regards to athletics as well as arts. I mean, one of the things that we keep trying to tell families is that arts-wise here in Bermuda, you absolutely have a chance to do something where our students, our young people get a chance to perform with professional and amateur actors in different programs here. And that's not something they're necessarily going to get away. So that's one of the pieces. They're looking at arts and bigger programs, or they're looking at sports. And as we listed in the article, one of the things is the football academies have become a bit of a thing. And they're looking for that level of athletics that can exist here or can be found here. But we feel a little bit that some of our talent in those areas are getting siphoned off. And so we also like to keep that on island. But those are the main things. It's really the co-curricular, and it's the social piece that they mentioned. And then one last thing, actually, I'm sorry, I forgot, left this one out, which is, that concept. And I know that pedagogically and developmentally, sometimes folks think that, well, they're going to need to get exposed to the big world before they go off to university. And it's a little bit of a counterintuitive piece. For some kids, I would say, yeah, that may be true. And I have to say, I cannot speak in absolutes, because for some kids, the choice is right, and the family knows their child and so forth. But the counterintuitive part is that if you really strengthen the child and you create a foundation for them, when they then go off to university, they're very well prepared. So being exposed to that big world, they'll actually be ready for it if they deal with the inner self and their own concept of self and self-advocacy.
I love that.
No, and there's nothing like a strong foundation.
Yeah.
Let's go roots and wings. Is that the same?
Pretty much, yes. Absolutely.
So the one thing, so I focused on the arts once I left. I left school, and one thing, and right after I had left, one of my friends' younger cousins, their family sent their child to a performing arts boarding school away, and so. And I always thought, like, oh, I really wish my parents would have sent me away to like a school because we didn't have that here. Like we don't have like a dedicated performing arts track in Bermuda. And I know that, and then Work Academy, that's the best I can speak to. They have really invested in their performing arts and infrastructurally. I think the curriculums more or less stayed the same, but they really they have this incredible drama studio at their school now. I'm a product of their Genesis, who's doing Doctor Who. She's going to be in Doctor Who. She went to Work Academy. Rowan Vickers, he went to Juilliard. He went to Work. He's doing big things. So they saw that and they were like, okay, cool, we have to invest in this. And I think that's a huge advantage that private schools have. They can be very nimble and very responsive to what they need. And that's like a sort of an advantage over public schools. But with that said, that's one way that Work Academy was like addressing that concern. So how else did the challenges that the parents are expressing to you, how else do the public schools heads, like in terms of their vision and where they want to go, how do they want to like sort of fill in these gaps?
Private school heads, he means.
Yeah, sorry, private school heads.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, I know we've all been talking to our communities quite a bit. For me, I actually have been talking to our community about the strategic nature of staying, as well as the opportunities that they'll have. Because one of the things is that it's one of those things that you don't know what you have until you leave. And so a lot of the folks think that they're going over there and they're going to get something that they can't get here. Well, there's something that they can't get there that they do get here. I mean, we have one of our students who went on the radio talking about BHS and got an internship in engineering because he talked about being an engineer. Our kids, some students are working with NASA here locally. Our kids are able to, again, I mentioned earlier, they get to perform in these professional theater groups, and I might get the name wrong as Gilbert and Sullivan, whichever. I'm still learning all the names. But they get to do these performances. And I know I can speak to the US experiences. You don't get to do that as easily. It's only reserved for the few. Like if you want to work in the Capitol, you have to sign up, and it's all over the country, and only 2 pages from each state, and that kind of thing can happen. And here, our students get a chance to, access to government, access to learning about government. We have this whole work relationships where students get to go into reinsurance and understand that. That level of access is unusual in other places. And that's one of the unique advantages of being in Bermuda. And so we're all spending time talking to our communities and letting them know, hey, you have a really unusually powerful opportunity for your child, that they're going to get exposed to things that if you're in the UK or if you're in Canada or you're in the US, it's going to be only a very few number of folks who get to do those things. So that's something that we're doing, we're explaining that. The other thing that we're working on, and I know that I think my colleagues are a little tired, but I keep talking about the social nature. From what I'm learning from folks is that pre-pandemic, there was a lot more robust social activity for young people. And let's just face it, the teen culture, they need their teen experience. And I know that some churches and some other youth organizations have things going, but it sounds like to me, from what I'm hearing from the students, as well as from the adults, that the pandemic kind of slowed things down. And I know that's happened. A lot of us are like, what did we do before the pandemic? Oh yeah, we used to do that really wonderful thing. So let's get it going again. And the kids just don't have that consistent social network. And this is one of the big collaboration pieces that we're trying to do with the private schools, but we want to do even more also with public schools. If the students across all schools on island get a chance to have social engagement, whether they've had a football tournament and at the end of it, there is a social gathering and they get to know each other and they've got that common affinity around football. That's one way of doing it. With CURB, we had a whole public-private student and leadership piece that culminated in a dance party, and it ended up being some dancing, lots of group dancing, and social time, just hanging out with music. And it seemed, as I keep hearing from the students, that's what they want. They want to find these opportunities for connection. So that's something that we as private schools are working on within ourselves, but also we're going to try to work on the outside of them, bridging the public-private as well, so that the kids have a really broad social group of people to choose from.
Indeed. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Ms. Swainson, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible before we head out. But I actually spoke when we discussed this last month. I spoke to the economic benefits of keeping students in Bermuda just beyond the academia, right? How it impacts grocery stores, right? There's less mouths to feed, right? If there's a household of 2 children and they're both in boarding schools, well, that's impacting jobs and the like, because if there's less people buying, then there's less money to pay people to do jobs. Extracurricular activities, you know, I mean, there may be people who teach music or gymnastics or you name it, language, whatever. And if those students are now out of the community, these people who may be doing it as a full-time job or side job, they're losing money. And that money that they use goes back into the economy because they have to survive and pay for groceries. Again, getting back to that. But just explain why it's so important that Bermudians, like everyone in the community, understands that this is much bigger than the private schools.
It's absolutely much bigger for a number of reasons. We all know, we heard the economic reports and well as the birth rate reports. There are fewer folks on island. And so we really need to make sure that we hold on because it's to those people, because it's not just, yes, the economic impact is there, but it's that the human capital that is lost when we have students who could be playing football here, or students that could be engaging in the arts and here even more so, or I play with the Philharmonic, and that's a professional amateur orchestra, and there's students in there, and there are grown-ups like myself in there, and I'm an amateur musician, not a professional. So you'd have even more students engaged in those. You'd have even more activities, more folks, just because we have more people to be a part of that and in the community. And so that's a huge part of keeping that human capital on island, as well as the economic impact. Because to me, that was also one of the things that surprised us. We're just like, and that's why we mentioned sort of it's part of the Buy Bermuda, that if you buy Bermuda, you're keeping the money on island. And if you're keeping the money on island, it's all feeding into our infrastructure. I have to say that some of what happens with the boarding school is if folks are feeling a certain area of the activity for the students is not very strong, if you don't stay, then the party doesn't get started. You know, it's one of those things people look in, oh, nobody's here yet, so I'm not going to go yet. Well, if everyone stays, and I've seen this happen in when I was in California, we did it. Once we started having people stay more, because I was at a school that struggled with some students leaving to go off to a particular high school. Once people started staying, then more stayed, and then all of a sudden, the infrastructure, that human piece, got stronger. And the thing that we're talking about, it is, especially since it's extracurricular, that's about public and private. That's not just private. That is absolutely all of those ancillary programs, the clubs, the football, the volleyball, the swimming, all of those things are both public and private. So that's something that will strengthen.
All right, let's go to the audience. We've got a couple questions. Now, Charles H. Jeffs II, he's asking, although it's probably good for private schools, business, does it concern Ms. Swainson that our public schools are not in a good place? And I think you've answered that throughout the conversation, but if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, yes, and I need to learn more. So I'm new. I've only been here since June. Again, and I'm a graduate of public school. But what I've been learning is that we have had both robust and successful public and private schools at times on the islands. So what's going on, particularly in the news that I hear and so forth, I can't speak to that, but I just know that there is an opportunity for abundance for all.
All righty. Traveling Trotty's asking, with keeping Bermuda students at home, does BHS allow and promote Bermuda College as a part of that plan?
We are working on that. I just met with one Bermuda College person yesterday. I met with Roselda and yesterday, and meeting with another one today. And I'm looking forward to getting to learn more and figuring out how we can collaborate.
All right, love that. Rosalind Famous is asking, how feasible is it to bring in people who can offer some of the activities that are mentioned in the co-curricula?
How feasible is it to bring in folks? Well, I was excited to hear that Howard University brought their swimmers here. And I was just thinking, wow, that would be great to have that kind of connection. So if you're talking about raising the competitive level, for the students to have sort of these, university students coming down, teams training here, having connections, having master classes, as we call it, musicians, that's what we call them, but having them get exposed and being challenged at different levels. We can bring the challenge here. We can also bring the broader world here. And I think that from what I hear from folks, definitely happened more. That's part of the reason why I feel like we need to find ways to collaborate with all of the different ministers in different parts of government, whether it's immigration, whether it's, tourism, different areas in education, so that the students on island, we can bring it in a lot more easily and have exciting things. So like, for instance, we're excited. We're Saltus and BHS are both, we're hosting an international public speaking conference in October. And that's a world experience. That's a high level global experience. So we can do things like that in Bermuda, but it's going to require some collaboration.
Love that. I really do. Really do. Before you head out, there are people obviously tuned into this show and will probably watch it a bit later. And they may have children that are in public and private schools in Bermuda. But what would you say to a parent or guardian who is today considering sending their children to an overseas boarding school?
I would really say that they need to ask for evidence of what the school claims it's going to do. We all know about marketing, and we all know about what we say, but ask them to say specifically. One of the things that one of my colleagues talked about with the football academies, they've had several go off to them, and it's like a less than a 50% success rate, meaning those students don't find themselves playing for a football team post their academy experience. And then they feel disappointed, or they feel that the program only focused, and this is classic, especially when it's programs that only focus on one thing, that sometimes they let go or let down sort of the academic or the social emotional piece. So it's really important especially if you're sending your child away in this day and age with children who have gone through the pandemic, really want to make sure, how is that school looking out for my child and their social emotional health and well-being? Those are some big things for them to ask them to provide evidence, meaning what structure, what curriculum, what program, what are they doing? I know that's something we all have to do more of. So I'm not going to say that we're all perfect here, but that is something that we know that we are able to do, especially if you're sending your child away and you're not going to be there on a day-to-day basis. You want to make sure that school has a really strong structure. So those are the things I would say. But before they go, the most important thing is to speak to their child's school and say, hi, these are the needs that we have. These are the things that we're considering. Help us to understand. And I've had some conversations with the students and families at BHS who were saying, well, we're wondering, and they hadn't thought about the strategic nature of staying. They hadn't realized how recognized the programs that we offer are. They hadn't understood that there are some other leadership opportunities their child could have on campus or on island outside of the walls of our school. So I think that those conversations would be really important for them to understand exactly what is the best course of action for them and their family.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, we see things in the news, we discuss them, but it's nothing like this show was created to actually bring the people who are part of these conversations in to engage live rather than just us giving our opinions based on the information we're reading. So thank you to yourself and the other heads for being open to coming on and engaging this audience live, and just keep us abreast with anything new that comes up. We'd like to keep the facts at the forefront rather than just our opinions and perspectives based on what we read. So thank you. And thanks for trusting this platform. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. I hope you have a wonderful day too.
All right. Carol Swainson, Bermuda High School, representing the Bermuda Private School heads today. Folks, if you appreciated the conversation today, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take a quick break. Come back after this. It's Daily Playtime. Stick with us.
Hi there. Welcome to Matacool House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside. Let's see. Let's kick it off in the footwear department. When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talks, and DeWalt. The list goes on. Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time? Speaking of stylish, we also have top-quality running, walking, and workout apparel by Skechers in a variety of sizes for men and women. Cool, breathable, and dry. With our wide selection of Skechers footwear, you'll look great before, during, and after your workout. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
You'll be surprised at everything we have to offer at our huge new retail and wholesale location on Bakery Lane.
Alrighty, welcome back, and thanks again to Carol Swainson for a very informative conversation. Really grateful for them trusting this platform to come and clarify some things for our audience. Thanks again to the BAC Group, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. And again, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this conversation, repost it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. But it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Roger, are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be. Let's go.
All right, it's a remember when. I said this is what did I say? The most Bermudian sports related question?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Head up, you're Googling.
No. If anything, I am not a cheater.
Here we go, audience. Who became the first Bermudian to win a gold medal at a major sporting event?
So broad. Looking forward to the answer.
Wow, no one. I did say who became the first Bermudian to win a gold medal at a major sporting event. Gold medal. Clarence Hill did not win a gold. Thank you. Someone got it. Two people got it. Stacey Ann Brown first, and then Charles Jeffers second. It's Clarence Nicky Saunders, same thing. But with his victory at the 1990 Commonwealth Games in New Zealand, Clarence Nicky's, I did say gold, right? I literally read what's on the screen. I said gold. Maya's saying I didn't say gold. She didn't hear it. But anyway, Maya's ears. But with his victory at the 1990 Commonwealth Games in New Zealand, Clarence Nicky Saunders became the first Bermudian to win a gold medal at a major event. In addition to that gold medal, he set a new Commonwealth record in high jump of 2.36 meters. Yeah. And I'm proud to, I think our parents are first cousins or something like that, or he's my grandfather's nephew, so I'm claiming him. Thank you, Suzanne. Your girl, Maya, she's chirping. Anyway, Raj, let's wrap it up. Who got it? Who got the answer? Stacey Ann Brown. She goes into the draw for Thursday. Well, final thoughts on today's show, Raj. Obviously, you are one of the most passionate people I know when it comes to public education, but you also benefited yourself from private school. So you legit can speak on this. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I mean, one incredible thing about the private school has association. They're showing what happens when you take responsibility for yourselves. And they're also demonstrating the benefits of being able to respond to be able to create educational experiences without red tape. You know what I mean? To be able to create the experiences that they know are going to benefit students. And I think That's one of my biggest takeaways from this. Before you get into the people going away, people staying thing, being able to see an issue, being solution driven, and going, let's just get on with it. That's one of the biggest things I saw from this conversation. The second thing is getting outside of this private school, public school dichotomy. Right? It was so encouraging to hear that there's this intention to reach out to public schools, because we limit ourselves when we want to get caught up in this public schools over here, private schools over here thing. It's just the practice of education. That is it, right? And it's something that affects all of us. The other really cool thing that one of my big takeaways, is what's available in Bermuda. Because of the size of our jurisdiction, and you hear it when we're talking about business, right? The BMA ain't nothing but 2 minutes from the House of Assembly, ain't nothing but 2 minutes from Cabinet, ain't nothing but a 3-minute walk away from West Hamilton, where you have like this huge concentration of international business, and you see how that translates into educational opportunities. If we really need to be intentional and to capitalize on the kind of learning that can take place in Bermuda because of the kind of jurisdiction that we are. So I think those would be like my biggest 3 takeaways from that conversation.
I want to echo everything you said. I don't even have to add anything. I think you covered all my bases. I just want people to understand, for me, as I've stated just now and in February, it's so much bigger than the private schools. I want us to all understand how important that is. Raj, any daily inspiration?
Hey, I just want to qualify something you said earlier. You said I'm taking a break from social media. I have actually decided to come off of social media.
I see. There you go. And it's a well needed. I get it. I get it.
And it was only because some of my content was, and it wasn't because like I needed to decrease my visibility and whatnot and like engage less. It was because I was posting on Palestine, and I could tell that my content was being shadow banned, was being censored, and I could prove it. And I went, I don't want to be a part of any platforms where the algorithms are censoring people. So I came off.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Inspirational quote today, a motivational quote for students. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. From Zig Ziglar.
I love that. I came across that the other day, and you just got to get started, folks. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Roger Denbrook. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a great day. We are out. Peace.